Hi everyone, welcome to USCIS Green Card, and today we bring you the approval rates for the Q3 of fiscal year 2025, the latest data from USCIS. My name is Oscar, and as you know, I'm a scientist and not a lawyer, and in this channel, together with Marina, we talk about green cards, self-petition green cards that allow you to take your immigration future into your own hands, because you can do this without a lawyer, saving thousands of dollars if you choose a do-it-yourself route. And also, you don't need a company, you don't need a job sponsorship. So here in this channel, we cover all those things. We have a website, oscarsgreencard.com, that deals with all of that as well. And we have specialized courses, in case you are serious about this, where we teach you step by step how to craft your own petition for NIW or EB1A. But let's get into today's topic, which is approval rates. Because I know a lot of people love looking at statistics, even though we know they are general statistics and they are not exclusive to your particular case. But we like to see the trends, we like to see how things are doing. The general perception right now is that things are getting more difficult, so we are about to see if that is actually backed up by data or not. This is the first full data set for Donald Trump's presidency, because the previous one that we saw in this video, that I'll leave a link right here, that was partial because that was January to March. Donald Trump started at the end of January. Now we're going to see how Donald Trump's presidency is treating EB2 NIW and EB1A. We're also going to take a look at the top 10 countries by number of I-140 approvals. And we have developed our own method to rank countries in terms of probability of success for a certain country. Today, we're not going to unveil that data. We're going to leave it for a second video, so this is more manageable. But if you want to understand how we do that calculation, you can start by watching this video that you have here on the bottom, that I will leave also link here. And then in a few days, we will update you with the most recent data with our own success indicator that we developed. So a quick reminder, this is what we do with the data. We go to USCIS website, we download the official spreadsheet from USCIS, and all we do to calculate approval rates is to divide the number of approvals in that particular quarter divided by the sum of approvals and denials, and we multiply times 100 to get the percentage. And remember, everything we talked today in this video is I-140. If you recall, the green card process has two main steps. I-140 step, where you explain to the officer why you deserve this waiver for the job offer in the case of EB2 NIW, or why you are a person of extraordinary ability in EB1. And then once you do that, there's a second step, which is adjustment of status if you are in the US, or consular processing if you are abroad, once the visa bulletin allows you to do that. So everything we talk about today is I-140, the first step of the process. So let's jump into the approval rates. This is the historical trend. In green, we have EB2 NIW. In blue, we have EB1A. And as you can see, generally, we would expect that EB2 NIW would be higher. It would be easier to get an EB2 NIW compared to EB1A because it's a lower standard. Then there are caveats, and it depends on the case. Sometimes you may want to choose EB1A depending on what's your line of work. But in general, that's the reality. And since fiscal year 2022, that held true until the end of fiscal year 2023. Then we started to see weird things where lines would cross each other, and then EB2 NIW would become harder according to the statistics than EB1A. And now we are here in 2025, we are unveiling this last data point. We see an approval rate of only 54% for EB2 NIW and 67% for EB1A. There's a drop in both of them, but particularly significant is the drop for EB2 NIW. We were expecting that, to be honest. What we have been noticing, our perception based on the interactions that we have with our audience, with our course members, is that in the past months, we have been seeing a lot of RFEs. We actually made a video about it. We developed a whole course only for RFEs in EB2 NIW because we were seeing that it was more and more common for this administration, and even at the end of Biden, to issue an RFE. Is even more common right now in the first month of Trump's presidency. And now we have the data to back it up. Now we are seeing, yes, historically, we are at the lowest point in approval rates for EB2 NIW. We are going to have to wait and see if this stabilizes. We hope that it will stabilize at some point and it doesn't keep going down. Then EB1A also suffers a little bit, but is only slightly below the historical trend line. See how I have here a 73%. That is the average of this whole period. And for EB2 NIW, we are way off because the average is 78%. But remember that we had very good years here, very good quarters. And of course, the average is also affected by that. So the question is for you, what do you think is happening? Do you think is this solely based on this new administration that is becoming more and more aggressive towards all kinds of immigration, really not only illegal, but all merit-based immigration programs as well? Or do you think it is a combination of that and maybe petitions that are not well put together and maybe cases that don't have merit and they are being submitted anyway? Probably also because other programs are suffering and people need to find a way out to keep their status to continue living and working in the US, and maybe they are jumping into this program just to see if they can get their approval. So those are things that I would like to hear from you in the comments. What do you think is going on? I have to mention that I had seen some statistics, some predictions from a popular company I'm not going to name. If they want to be named, they can sponsor the channel maybe. But it's a very popular tracking app that gathers thousands of data points from all of you if you use it. You basically give them your receipt number and then they will issue notifications when something changes at USCIS. And they use that data, they gather all that data and they do statistics on that data, and they try to come up with predictions before USCIS even release the data, and sometimes they are pretty close. In this case, for EB2 NIW, they were predicting, based on their data, a range of 45 to 51% approval rate, and the actual number was 54%. And so it was a little bit off. Their prediction was a little bit on the pessimistic side. And for EB1A, they were pretty much off because they were predicting 52 to 58% and the actual number is 67%. So their data seems to be negatively biased. Maybe they don't have enough sample size, although they claim they do. But based on what they are seeing, because they can see data faster than what we can see it from USCIS, they also predict that based on the July and August data, which would be coming in the next batch of official data, approval rates would continue trending lower in Q4. So we'll have to see. And again, if they want to support the channel and maybe we can bring in for an interview or Q&A, they can reach out and we can talk about the collaboration. So cases adjudicated each quarter here. The graph again, green EB2 NIW, blue EB1A. What we're seeing is a pretty stable adjudication trend. So USCIS, which was stopping a little bit or slowing down in the adjudication machine, getting out decisions, approvals or denials, it had decreased and now we're going back up in EB2 NIW. EB1A is still strong, so we're still seeing a lot of demand, and that makes me think that the visa bulletin is still not going to be really alleviated by this decrease in approval rate because we're still seeing so many cases adjudicated, even though, of course, if the approval rate keeps going down, the number of approvals will be mitigated a little bit. EB1 backlog, this is important because this is what would affect also the processing times, is how many cases does USCIS have on their desks and without resolution. And this is also important to try to come up with some sort of predictions or expectations about the visa bulletin, because if we know that they have a lot of work still to go through, even without taking into account new petitions submitted to USCIS, well, we can expect that the visa bulletin will continue to be pretty slow. And that is exactly what we are seeing. If you see the general total EB1 category, the trend still continues in this quarter. We're still going up in number of cases to be adjudicated. So we have now more than 30,000 cases in EB1. And EB2, we just crossed the 80,000 mark. And that's a lot of cases because remember, there's a total of 140,000 green cards that they can give every year in employment. And EB1 and EB2 each will take about 28% of that. So that is about 40,000 each. So for EB2, only the backlog of these cases is already way more than a whole year worth of quota for EB2. And now we're going to one of our favorite parts, which is the ranking of countries. This is just for entertainment. We see in EB1 that in terms of the top countries by number of I-140 approvals, we have India and China as usual, and both they almost account for half of the total pie. In fact, India, China, Nigeria, Brazil, and Russia all keep their positions that they had in the previous quarter, and they all amount to a total of 65% of the total approvals. Okay, these are I-140 approvals in the quarter. Iran moves from position number 8 in the previous quarter to number 6 with 89, and that is 26 more cases. Canada has gone from 7 to 9, it drops, and also has 16 cases less approved. South Korea from number 6 to 7 with 11 more cases approved. UK goes from 10 to 8, and it has the same number of approvals. So this is the situation in EB1A. In EB2 NIW, we're seeing again China and India leading the chart. They maintain the first positions, but they both reduce significantly because of the general trend. They both reduce the number of I-140 approved, with 539 cases less for China and 229 cases less for India compared to the previous quarter. Iran and Nigeria keep positions, but with less number of I-140 approved. Bangladesh goes up from 6 to 5, and South Korea goes from number 5 to number 6. Brazil goes down from number 7 to number 8, losing 39 I-140 approved cases compared to the previous quarter. And we see that Taiwan remains at the 9th position, and Colombia has dropped and it goes out of the chart to number 11. It was within this chart in the previous quarter. And like I discussed at the beginning of the video, we also have our success indicator that calculates what is the overall probability of approval rate for each of these countries, because that's not data that we can actually get from the official data. We have to do some math. We came up with a formula and we are working on that, and soon in a few days we're going to release a video with an update ranking of all these countries. Actually more than 10. We're going to see 20, 30 countries, so you can get an idea where is your country, and you can use that for your own entertainment, because remember, your case is really what matters. And in fact, that is our closing for today. These numbers that we are discussing are not really your probability of success. We always say this because each case is unique. Your success will really depend on your profile, particularly important for EB1A, but somewhat important also in EB2 NIW for pro number 2, your proposed endeavor, especially EB2 NIW, because pro number 1 is all about your proposed project for the US, your professional mission. What kind of problems are you going to help the US solve? What are you going to bring in terms of value for this country? And then the quality of your petition package. That's why we have courses to teach you how to do things correctly, how to argue things correctly, how to write in a way that the officer can understand. And then, of course, we have the wild card, which is the officer who reviews your case. They are people, they are human beings, and so we have a factor there as well. There are more strict officers and less strict officers. So remember that we are seeing these statistics to see general trends, to see where we are going in general with these green cards and how the new administration is affecting adjudication trends. But remember that your case is your case. You should work on your particular petition, make it strong, make it convincing, increasing your chances of success. So I hope this video was useful for you, and we will see you soon with the visa bulletin update, with the success indicator for the different countries, and with some surprises that we are preparing also for you. We are also going to have a special interview, so we have plenty of content. Stay tuned. Hit subscribe if you haven't done it. It's free. Also activate the bell so you are notified, and we're going to see you soon in our next video. Thank you and good luck in your green card journey.